As we approach July the 4th, it's pretty easy to start concentrating on Philadelphia. But we have to remember that we've been at war for almost a year, from the north of the country all the way to the south. Let's talk about that on today's Shave. Yes, my friends, we were at war across the entire country, from the very north to the very south. First place that we'll talk about is we were at war with Canada. We had attacked Canada in the hopes of driving the British out from the neighbors to the north and keep them from coming around behind us, particularly in Quebec. At this time, in 1776, it wasn't going well. Matter of fact, we were kind of withdrawing from that front and moving further to the south a little bit. In New York, George Washington was there preparing for the British's main effort. The British had already a bunch of ships in New York Harbor, and they were preparing for an assault in New York, which at the time we held, but it was not looking real great. Of course, in Philadelphia, we are preparing to make our break with England official and giving ourselves a name, the United States of America. And finally, to the south, off the coast of Carolina, South Carolina, near Charleston, the British were preparing to take the Carolinas in the hopes of attacking the United States from the south and splitting our efforts. You see, it was a pretty big war, and it had been going for well over a year, since Breed's Hill or Bunker Hill, and little skirmishes here and then, but it was getting hot, and it's going to get hotter. Having a great shave coming through. This no-name soap that we were trying to figure out it was. As I was lathering it, finally a label came out here. This is Barrister & Mann's Cool Reserve. I guess it came in a puck and didn't have a container, so I stuck it in this bowl. So that mystery is gone. Now we're finally, I don't know what Cool is. It's not mentholated. It doesn't seem to be anyway. But it's very slick. A razor today is a favorite of all time. It's my Feather Artist Club SS. That's a fairly new blade. I don't know how many shaves are on it, because it does such a good job. I just leave the blade in there. I'm so glad you guys are coming along with this journey, and I'm just kind of noticing just how big this war actually is and why it took so long to come to a conclusion. And the scale of it is one thing. The length of the supply lines for England, the stubbornness of everybody involved, and the resolve. And that's something that we can probably carry forward into our own modern life. Is, you know, something worth having. Freedom, for example, is worth hanging on to. It's worth fighting the long game for. if your cause is just, if it's something you believe deeply in, don't be afraid to commit in the long term. Just like straight razor shaving or open blade shaving. You can get some bad shaves here and there. If you stick with it, you'll be getting just fine shaves like this one, which I tell you, I'm smooth as porcelain. Stick with it. These things will happen in time. But that's it for today, Shane. I'm glad you came. Please leave comments, questions, things you'd like to talk about in the comments. And stay tuned for a special one coming up, because we have a coincidence of really huge significance coming up with our next shave. So we'll see you then. Bye-bye.